In today's video, we're revealing the most valuable Monticello Jefferson Nickels ever discovered, the rare errors that make them so valuable, and exactly what to look for before you spend another 5-cent coin. Stay with us until the end, because the last nickel on this list could completely change the way you look at your spare change forever. Imagine paying for your morning coffee with a coin that could one day be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It sounds impossible, but history has repeatedly proven that ordinary-looking coins have stunned collectors with extraordinary values. Every year, rare coins quietly pass through cash registers, vending machines, and forgotten piggy banks without anyone realizing what they truly have. That is exactly why today's story matters. The 2000p mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel is one of those modern coins that has captured the attention of serious collectors because a handful of extremely unusual examples display rare minting errors that separate them from billions of ordinary nickels. While most 2000p nickels are only worth 5 cents, a spectacular error example in exceptional condition can become the centerpiece of an advanced collection, with some market estimates and collector speculation suggesting that the most extraordinary discoveries could attract offers reaching as high as $580,000 under exceptional circumstances. The real question is this: what if one of those hidden treasures is already sitting in your change jar? Most people never think twice before spending a nickel. It disappears into a vending machine, lands in a tip jar, or gets tossed into a drawer with dozens of other coins. Collectors see something completely different. They understand that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story includes a tiny mistake made inside the United States Mint. Those mistakes can transform an everyday coin into an object that collectors compete fiercely to own. The difference between a spender and a collector is simple. One person sees 5 cents. The other sees opportunity. That difference has created fortunes before, and it may do so again. Before we explore the incredible errors that make certain 2000p Jefferson Nickels so fascinating, take a quick moment to think about your own pocket change. How many jars of old coins do you have sitting around your house? How many forgotten rolls of nickels have been collecting dust for years? You may be far closer to hidden treasure than you ever imagined. The Jefferson nickel has been a familiar part of American life since 1938, replacing the famous Buffalo nickel. Featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the front and his beloved home, Monticello, on the reverse, this coin has remained one of the most recognized pieces in U.S. coinage. By the year 2000, billions of Jefferson Nickels had already entered circulation, making them seem ordinary. The Philadelphia Mint alone produced hundreds of millions of nickels that year, each carrying the small P mint mark. Because production numbers were so high, almost every collector assumed these coins would never become valuable. That assumption turned out to be only partially true. As experienced numismatists know, rarity is not always created by low mintage. Sometimes rarity is created by manufacturing mistakes. Even when millions of coins are struck, only a microscopic number may display dramatic mint errors. These are the coins that collectors chase relentlessly because no two errors are exactly alike. One of the most desirable errors found on certain 2000p Jefferson Nickels is the dramatic off-center strike. During the minting process, if the blank planchet shifts before being struck by the dies, part of the design may be missing while the remaining details appear perfectly sharp. The greater the off-center percentage without losing the date and mint mark, the more desirable the coin becomes. Collectors prize these unusual pieces because they instantly stand out from every normal nickel in circulation. Another fascinating error is the broad strike. This occurs when the retaining collar fails to hold the planchet correctly during striking. Without the collar, the coin spreads outward, creating an oversized appearance with distorted edges. Instead of the familiar clean circular border, the design appears stretched and unusual. These dramatic mistakes are instantly recognizable and highly collectible. Now here is something that surprises many new collectors. A tiny doubling visible on Jefferson's portrait, the lettering, or the Monticello building can sometimes generate tremendous excitement. Known as a double die error, this happens during the die creation process rather than during the striking of individual coins. Genuine double dies are significantly scarcer than ordinary machine doubling, making authentication absolutely essential. Strong examples often command impressive premiums because they represent a true production variety rather than simple wear or damage. But the story becomes even more interesting. Some collectors have discovered 2000p nickels with multiple minting abnormalities appearing together. Imagine finding a coin that displays strike weakness, die cracks, and significant die breaks all on the same piece. These combinations are exceptionally unusual because they require several unusual production circumstances to occur simultaneously. Such coins become conversation pieces whenever they appear at major coin shows or auctions. Here's something you should do right now. If you have a jar filled with loose change somewhere in your home, pause for a moment after this video and separate every 2000p Jefferson nickel you can find. You are not looking for an ordinary coin. You are searching for something that simply looks different. An unusual strike, missing details, strange lettering, odd spacing. Those small differences are exactly what experienced collectors notice first. Condition plays an equally important role. A rare error on a heavily worn coin will still attract attention, but an error preserved in brilliant mint state condition is an entirely different story. Coins that somehow escaped circulation with their original luster intact are naturally much scarcer. Professional grading services evaluate these pieces carefully, assigning grades that greatly influence collector demand and market value. Imagine two identical mint errors. One circulated for years in pockets, gradually losing its shine and detail. The other remained untouched inside a roll since the year 2000. Which one do you think serious collectors would fight over? The answer is obvious. Preservation can multiply value dramatically. Here's a question that many viewers never ask themselves. How many people unknowingly spend rare error coins every single day? The answer is impossible to calculate, but experienced dealers know it happens constantly. Families inherit old collections without understanding what they contain. Children spend inherited coins at convenience stores. Coin rolls are deposited at banks without anyone checking them carefully. Every one of those moments creates another opportunity for someone else to make an incredible discovery. This is exactly why dedicated collectors continue searching modern nickels despite enormous mintages. They understand that hidden rarity often survives in plain sight. Let's talk about the market. The rare coin market has experienced remarkable growth over recent years as more collectors enter the hobby searching for tangible assets with historical significance. Unlike many modern investments, truly exceptional error coins cannot simply be manufactured to satisfy demand. Their supply remains permanently limited. Every time one enters a private collection, another opportunity disappears from the open market. This growing competition explains why spectacular mint errors regularly achieve astonishing prices. While ordinary 2000p Jefferson nickels remain worth face value, authenticated major error examples with outstanding eye appeal have attracted substantial collector interest. In the most extraordinary hypothetical scenario involving an exceptionally rare combination of dramatic mint errors, elite preservation, professional certification, and intense bidding competition, market discussions have suggested values approaching $580,000. Such outcomes are exceptionally rare and should never be expected for ordinary coins, but they demonstrate how extraordinary rarity can completely transform an everyday nickel. Think about that for a second. A coin that originally entered circulation worth just 5 cents could become the object of fierce competition among advanced collectors. That possibility is precisely what keeps millions of people searching through pocket change every single year. Of course, authentication is absolutely essential. Many damaged coins are mistakenly believed to be valuable errors. Scratches, environmental damage, heat exposure, and post-mint alterations can resemble genuine mint mistakes. Serious collectors rely on professional grading and authentication to verify whether a coin truly represents a legitimate mint error. Without expert verification, extraordinary value claims remain only speculation. Here's another attention check. Have you looked through the change in your wallet recently? Most people haven't. Yet history has repeatedly shown that remarkable discoveries often come from the most ordinary places. Coin roll hunters have uncovered valuable errors directly from bank rolls. Estate sales have revealed forgotten collections. Even cash register drawers have occasionally produced surprising finds. That is the beauty of coin collecting. Treasure is not reserved only for museums or wealthy investors. Sometimes it hides inside everyday life, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. The 2000p Jefferson nickel reminds us of an important lesson. Value is not always obvious. Sometimes greatness hides behind ordinary appearances. The smallest manufacturing mistake can create enormous collector demand decades later. Patience, education, and careful observation continue to reward those willing to look closer than everyone else. Every experienced numismatist remembers the moment they made their first exciting discovery. It may not have been worth thousands of dollars, but it changed the way they viewed coins forever. Suddenly, every handful of change became a possible adventure. Every old coin carried a new sense of mystery. That excitement has fueled generations of collectors, and it continues today. So before you spend another nickel, ask yourself one simple question. Have I really looked at it? Not glanced at it. Actually studied it? The answer to that question could determine whether you walk past hidden opportunity or recognize it before everyone else does. The search for rare coins is not simply about money. It is about history, curiosity, patience, and the thrill of discovering something extraordinary where nobody else thought to look. That is why millions of collectors continue searching year after year, knowing that the next remarkable find could appear at any moment. And here's the exciting part. Today's featured Jefferson nickel may not be the rarest modern coin hiding in circulation. There is another mysterious U.S. coin with an even more astonishing error, one that has shocked seasoned collectors and sparked bidding wars whenever a genuine example appears. In our next video, we'll reveal that ultra-rare coin, explain exactly what makes it so valuable, and show you how to identify one before it disappears into someone else's collection forever. What if the next time you reach into your pocket for a handful of change, you unknowingly spend a coin that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? It sounds impossible, but history has repeatedly proven that ordinary-looking coins have turned everyday people into the owners of incredible treasures. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind one of the most talked-about modern coins among collectors, the 1998p Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. While millions of these nickels were produced, a tiny number with extraordinary minting errors have captured the attention of elite collectors and major auction houses. Some experts believe that an exceptional example with a dramatic, authenticated mint error and pristine condition could command astonishing prices, with speculative estimates reaching as high as $600,000 in the right market. Before you dismiss that old nickel sitting in your drawer, remember this: a spender sees 5 cents. A collector sees hidden history. Which one are you? The Jefferson nickel has been part of American life since 1938, quietly passing through cash registers, vending machines, and family piggy banks for generations. By 1998, the United States Mint was producing millions of nickels for everyday circulation. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark on the coin, struck an enormous number of Jefferson nickels that year. Most are worth exactly 5 cents today. Yet within every massive production run lies the possibility of something extraordinary. Tiny mistakes inside the minting process can transform an ordinary coin into a legendary collectible. Those mistakes are what collectors spend decades searching for. Now here's where the story becomes fascinating. During the minting process, thousands of planchets move through powerful presses every hour. Dies strike each blank coin under tremendous pressure, leaving behind the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the reverse. When everything works perfectly, the result is an ordinary nickel. But when even one tiny detail goes wrong, a rarity can be born. Attention for just a second. If you have a jar of old coins sitting somewhere in your house, pause this video later and check every 1998 Jefferson nickel you own. It could take only a few minutes, and that forgotten coin might surprise you. One of the most desirable errors collectors search for is the double die variety. This occurs during the die manufacturing process when the design is impressed more than once with slight misalignment. Instead of crisp lettering, certain parts of the coin may display noticeable doubling. Collectors often inspect the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," the date, and Jefferson's profile under magnification. Genuine double dies are extremely scarce compared to the millions of normal coins that entered circulation. Another remarkable error is the off-center strike. Imagine a coin entering the press slightly out of position. Instead of receiving a perfectly centered design, part of the image is missing while the blank edge remains visible. Depending on how dramatic the shift is and whether the full date remains visible, these errors can become highly desirable. Severe off-center strikes with strong eye appeal consistently attract collector interest because no two examples are exactly alike. Then there are broad strikes. These occur when the retaining collar fails during the striking process. Without the collar holding the coin in place, the nickel expands beyond its normal diameter, creating a wider appearance while preserving much of the original design. Broad-struck Jefferson Nickels are fascinating because they reveal exactly how the minting machinery operates when something unexpectedly fails. Perhaps even more dramatic are clipped planchet errors. Before coins are struck, circular blanks are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, the cutting process overlaps, leaving a curved section missing from the edge of a blank. If that defective blank makes it through production, it becomes a clipped planchet error. These instantly recognizable coins often become conversation pieces because the missing section is impossible to overlook. Now ask yourself something. How many people receive change every single day without ever looking at it? How many rare coins disappear forever because nobody recognized what they were holding? That question alone explains why serious collectors inspect every coin they encounter. Another important variety involves die cracks and retained cuds. Over time, minting dies endure enormous stress. Eventually, tiny fractures begin developing across their surfaces. As these cracks grow, raised lines appear on the struck coins. In more advanced cases, pieces of the die can actually break away, creating large raised blobs known as cuds. These dramatic errors tell the story of a die nearing the end of its life, making every surviving example unique. Collectors also search carefully for die breaks around the Monticello building, unusual lettering distortions, rotated dies, weak strikes, multiple strikes, and dramatic die deterioration. While not every error carries enormous value, the combination of rarity, visual appeal, certification, and exceptional preservation can dramatically increase demand among advanced collectors. Here's something many people never realize. Condition often matters just as much as the error itself. Two identical error coins can have completely different values depending on their preservation. A heavily worn example may sell for only a modest premium, while a flawless mint-state specimen with brilliant luster and virtually no contact marks can command exponentially higher prices. Professional grading services carefully examine every detail, assigning numerical grades that significantly influence market value. Imagine opening an old coin roll stored away since the late 1990s. Every nickel inside has remained untouched for decades. Hidden among those ordinary-looking coins could be one spectacular mint error preserved almost exactly as it left the Philadelphia Mint. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching year after year. Attention reset. Go ahead and think about the last handful of change you received. Did you actually examine the dates, mint marks, or details? Or did those coins disappear into a drawer without a second thought? Most valuable discoveries happen because someone simply looked closer than everyone else. The market for modern era coins has evolved dramatically over the last decade. As online auctions expanded and collector communities grew, awareness of unusual mint errors increased substantially. Today, authenticated error coins regularly attract competitive bidding from collectors across the country. While common Jefferson Nickels remain inexpensive, rare error varieties in elite condition occupy an entirely different category. It is important to understand that not every unusual-looking coin is a genuine mint error. Damage occurring after the coin enters circulation can easily be mistaken for a valuable variety. Scratches, dents, corrosion, machine damage, heat exposure, and environmental wear may look dramatic, but generally do not increase value. This is why authentication from respected grading companies remains essential before assuming any extraordinary worth. So where does the $600,000 figure come from? It represents an extraordinary, highly speculative scenario involving an exceptionally rare mint error combined with elite preservation, strong collector demand, impeccable certification, and an auction environment where multiple determined buyers compete aggressively. Such outcomes are incredibly uncommon and should never be considered typical for ordinary 1998 P. Jefferson Nickels. Most examples found in circulation are worth only face value, while genuine authenticated error coins vary widely depending on the specific error, rarity, and condition. Still, history has repeatedly demonstrated that remarkable discoveries emerge from the most ordinary places. Valuable coins have been found inside inherited collections, forgotten coffee cans, estate sales, garage sales, bankrolls, and even loose change received during routine shopping trips. Treasure doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere in America, someone may already own one of the finest surviving 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel error coins without realizing it. It could be sitting inside an old piggy bank, tucked away in a dresser drawer, or mixed into a child's coin collection. Every day that passes without careful inspection is another opportunity missed. This is exactly why experienced collectors develop one habit above all others. They slow down. Instead of spending every coin automatically, they inspect dates, mint marks, lettering, strike quality, and unusual characteristics. Over time, those small moments of curiosity become the foundation of remarkable discoveries. The Jefferson nickel may never receive the same public attention as famous rare pennies or silver dollars, but dedicated numismatists understand that hidden opportunities exist throughout every denomination. Modern coins, despite their enormous mintages, occasionally produce astonishing rarities because machines, like people, are not perfect. Those imperfections create history, and history creates value. As interest in coin collecting continues growing, competition for exceptional error coins is becoming increasingly intense. New collectors enter the market every year, while the supply of authenticated major errors remains permanently limited. That balance between growing demand and fixed supply explains why truly remarkable coins continue attracting attention whenever they appear at auction. Before you spend another nickel, ask yourself one final question. Would you recognize a life-changing coin if it were already sitting in your pocket? The answer depends entirely on whether you're willing to look beyond face value. Every collector started with a single coin, a single discovery, and a single decision to pay attention when everyone else ignored the details. The next time you receive change, don't rush. Examine every Jefferson nickel carefully. Look for the 1998 date. Find the P mint mark. Study the lettering. Inspect the Monticello building, and search for anything unusual. You may never uncover a museum-quality rarity, but the excitement of the hunt is part of what makes coin collecting one of America's most rewarding hobbies. And remember, extraordinary discoveries rarely happen to the people who never look. They happen to the people who refuse to overlook the ordinary. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery behind the 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel, make sure you stay with us because our next episode explores another astonishing American coin that has left collectors speechless. An ultra-rare piece with an incredible mint error that could be hiding in circulation right now. You definitely won't want to miss that one. Have you ever tossed a nickel onto a counter without thinking twice? What if that ordinary 5-cent coin was actually worth more than a luxury home? Every day, millions of Americans spend pocket change without ever checking the date, the mint mark, or the tiny details that collectors obsess over. That's the difference between a spender and a collector. One sees 5 cents. The other sees hidden opportunity. Today, we're uncovering one of the most talked about modern Jefferson Nickels, the 1998 P. Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. While most examples are worth only face value, a handful with extraordinary mint errors and exceptional preservation have captured the attention of elite collectors. Some reports and collector speculation have attached astonishing values reaching as high as $670,000 for unique, one-of-a-kind error specimens that combine multiple rare characteristics. The question is simple. Could one of these treasures be hiding in your pocket, your coin jar, or an old family collection right now? For decades, coin collectors have searched through bank rolls, estate sales, forgotten piggy banks, and dusty dresser drawers hoping to discover that one extraordinary coin everyone else overlooked. History has repeatedly shown that valuable coins are often found in the most ordinary places. That is exactly why experienced numismatists never ignore modern coins. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that newer coins can never become valuable. In reality, modern minting technology has not eliminated mistakes. It has simply made genuine errors much more fascinating and much harder to find. The 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel was produced at the Philadelphia Mint during an era of extremely efficient manufacturing. Millions entered circulation, and nearly all looked exactly alike. Yet hidden among those countless nickels are extremely unusual examples created by striking errors, die failures, or production abnormalities. These coins are the ones that attract serious attention from collectors because they represent moments when the minting process briefly went wrong before returning to normal. Before we dive deeper, here's something you should do right now. Pause for just a moment and think about where you keep your loose change. Maybe it's a jar in the kitchen, a cup holder in your car, or a drawer you've ignored for years. Believe it or not, discoveries like this have happened because someone finally decided to look instead of spend. The Jefferson nickel itself has a fascinating history. Introduced in 1938, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and featured one of America's most influential presidents, Thomas Jefferson, on the front. The reverse proudly displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home. For generations, this design became one of the most recognizable coins in American circulation. By 1998, the series had already become a favorite among collectors because even subtle differences could dramatically affect desirability. So what transforms an ordinary 1998 P. Jefferson nickel into a coin worth serious money? The answer lies in mint errors, condition, rarity, and authentication. No single factor creates incredible value by itself. Instead, extraordinary prices are usually achieved when multiple rare characteristics appear together on the same coin. One of the most desirable possibilities is a dramatic off-center strike. During production, if the blank planchet fails to align properly beneath the dies, the design may appear shifted dramatically to one side. The more dramatic the displacement while still showing the date and mint mark, the more attractive the error becomes. Collectors love these because they clearly demonstrate the minting mistake without any damage occurring after the coin left the mint. Another sought-after error involves a broad strike. This happens when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin in place during striking. Without the collar, the metal spreads outward, creating a larger than normal nickel with distorted edges. These examples are visually impressive and immediately stand out from ordinary coins. Now here's another important question. Have you ever looked closely at the lettering on your nickels? Most people never do. But experienced collectors know that double dies can sometimes create slight doubling on letters, numbers, or Jefferson's portrait. Under magnification, these details may reveal a genuine minting variety rather than simple wear or machine doubling. True double die varieties remain among the most respected discoveries in modern coin collecting. Die cracks and retained die breaks can also create unusual raised lines across the surface. As dies wear down after striking thousands of coins, small fractures sometimes develop. These cracks transfer onto every coin struck afterward. While minor die cracks are relatively common, dramatic examples can become highly collectible, especially when combined with pristine condition. Another fascinating possibility involves die clashes. When the dies strike each other without a blank planchet between them, parts of each design become impressed into the opposite die. Future coins struck with those damaged dies may display mysterious extra design elements where they don't belong. To an untrained eye, these marks may seem insignificant. To specialists, they tell the story of an unusual event inside the mint itself. Perhaps the most dramatic errors involve multiple striking mistakes. Imagine a coin that is struck off-center, displays strong doubling, and was created using a damaged die. The odds of several significant errors appearing together are incredibly low. That combination of rarity is exactly what elite collectors compete to own. But here's where many people make a costly mistake. They hear stories of six-figure coins and assume every 1998 P nickel is valuable. That simply isn't true. The overwhelming majority remain worth only 5 cents or perhaps a small premium in uncirculated condition. Extraordinary values apply only to authenticated coins with truly exceptional mint errors, remarkable preservation, or unique characteristics recognized by respected grading services. Condition is absolutely everything. Professional grading companies examine every microscopic detail. They evaluate strike quality, luster, surface preservation, eye appeal, and originality. A coin that survives without wear, scratches, corrosion, or cleaning has a much greater chance of receiving a premium grade. Even a single grade difference can dramatically change market value. Attention reset. If you have a magnifying glass at home, grab it after this video. Don't worry if your family wonders why you're suddenly inspecting nickels instead of watching television. They may laugh today, but they'll certainly stop laughing if one of those nickels turns out to be something extraordinary. The excitement surrounding modern era coins has grown rapidly over the past decade. More collectors are entering the hobby, online auctions have expanded worldwide participation, and social media has introduced millions of people to incredible coin discoveries. Every major auction reminds collectors that overlooked treasures still exist. This growing demand creates an interesting situation. Genuine rare era coins become even more desirable because collectors recognize how difficult they are to replace. Unlike ordinary coins, no two dramatic mint errors are exactly alike. Every significant error tells its own story, making each discovery uniquely appealing. Now let's address the headline figure that captures everyone's imagination. Could a 1998 P. Jefferson nickel really approach $670,000? While ordinary examples absolutely do not sell for anywhere near that amount, the numismatic market has repeatedly demonstrated that unique, one-of-a-kind era coins with exceptional provenance, elite grading, and intense collector demand can command astonishing prices. Values at that level represent extraordinary, highly unusual circumstances rather than standard market prices. That's why authentication is essential before making assumptions about any coin's value. Imagine finding a strange-looking nickel in your change. Most people would spend it without hesitation. A knowledgeable collector would stop, examine it carefully, compare its features. Here's another reality many people overlook. Cleaning a coin almost always reduces its collectible value. Even gentle polishing can permanently damage original surfaces that collectors want to see. If you believe you've discovered an unusual 1998 P. Jefferson nickel, resist the temptation to make it shine. Preserve it exactly as you found it until experts have evaluated it. Attention reset. Go ahead and ask yourself one question. When was the last time you actually looked at a nickel before spending it? If you can't remember, you're probably not alone. Millions of coins change hands every single day without anyone giving them a second glance. Coin collecting isn't simply about money. It's about history, craftsmanship, mystery, and discovery. Every genuine mint error represents a brief moment when one of the world's most advanced manufacturing systems produced something unexpected. That tiny imperfection transformed an ordinary coin into an object of fascination. Many of today's successful collectors started with nothing more than curiosity. They searched pocket change after work, checked coin rolls from local banks, and learned to recognize details most people ignored. Over time, that knowledge became far more valuable than luck alone. The market for certified error coins continues evolving as new discoveries emerge and collector interest expands. Auction records change, demand rises and falls, and truly exceptional pieces often exceed expectations because two determined bidders refuse to walk away. That's one reason rare coins remain so captivating. Their value isn't determined only by metal content. It's driven by rarity, history, authenticity, and the passion of collectors. Before you spend another handful of change, remember this story. Somewhere, perhaps sitting unnoticed in a forgotten jar or hidden inside an old wallet, there could be a coin waiting for someone who understands its significance. Whether your discovery is worth 5 cents or something far more extraordinary depends entirely on the details. The next time someone tells you that nickels aren't worth checking, you'll know better. Every collector who has made an unforgettable discovery started with the same simple habit: looking closely. The 1998 P. Jefferson nickel reminds us that extraordinary opportunities often hide inside the most ordinary places. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures hiding in everyday pocket change, make sure you subscribe and join our community of passionate coin hunters. Our next episode explores another ultra-rare American coin that has stunned collectors with breathtaking auction prices, unusual mint errors, and a mystery that continues to grow. You won't want to miss what could be the next incredible discovery waiting in plain sight.